Welcome to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Kelly Patrick, Tyler Bloyd, here to talk about all sorts of things in the Bluegrass State. We have a victory, Louisville over Kentucky yesterday. We get to talk about Louisville's also playing in a BCS bowl game coming up this Wednesday, the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. We'll have a couple great guests. At 10:30, we have our man Aaron Young coming on, talk to us about the billboard that he was instrumental in having put up to thank Charlie Strong for sticking around. We'll get to talk all about that. Also, our man Farrell Elliott at 11 o'clock to do a little bit of a fantasy football season recap, kind of wrap things up. NFL is going full force right now. A lot of exciting playoff matchups today in the NFL. We get to talk about the fantasy football season, kind of wrap things up. To start with, Tyler, what do you want to talk about this morning?
There's not too much to talk about today.
There's plenty to talk about.
I think we should maybe just look into politics, maybe get into a little bit of outdoor scenes.
No, thank you.
There's not much to talk about.
Fiscal Cliff?
I do want to start with this. Happy birthday to a special guy today. He's turned 30. He's slowly getting up there in age. You can tell by his receding hairline. Matt McCarthy, our number one producer out there, happy 30th birthday to him. I think there's something I do want to bring up, though, before we get into the game yesterday. Somebody owes somebody some cash.
I owe Matt $50.
If I'm correct, the bet was 6 points.
I thought Louisville would win by 6 points, and they didn't. That's the bottom line.
Thanks to Archie Goodwin's few late second three-pointers, right?
Somewhat reminiscent of kind of what Russ did last year to win the bet for me, right, Matt? That's right. It really is. I mean, Russ had what you may call garbage three-pointers last year. You know, some garbage buckets that spread the
Was that on your mind in the last second when he was going to shoot that shot?
Yes, Matt and I were texting back and forth, and yeah, I was talking about it to everyone I was with.
So you were not happy?
No, I was not happy.
Oh, that's great. I had to get that out there nice and early for everybody to hear. Archie hit that last three, Matt. So he's probably one of your favorite players. He's now Matt's man. He just said, if anyone wants to call in, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, 414-1450, the Otis Gunworks text line. Shoot us your thoughts about yesterday's games, because obviously we're going to talk a lot about that today. We're also going to, in the second hour, talk a lot about your Louisville Sugar Bowl. I guess that's next up on the slate for Card Nation. I know everybody was tweeting out last night after the victory. Well, time to move on, which is kind of cool. I kind of like it. You know, it kind of puts the game already in the afterburner. It's like it's already done with. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be talked about much because Louisville has the Sugar Bowl in 3 and 4 days. I like it.
Yeah. So you like that we're moving past the victory?
Really fast. Okay. Really fast.
I can go with that.
You all can have it for 1 day, 1 year. We're just going to retain it next year pretty simply, pretty easily.
We'll see about that next year. That's my thing.
We actually might have a shot later in the year to retain just the way these two teams looked. You might see another Sweet 16 to Final Four matchup. Both these teams are very good, and it showed last night. Well, in my opinion, it showed last night that Kentucky is a ranked team. They're unranked in most polls. They're 23rd, I think, I can't remember which one, AP or ESPN. One of the two, they're ranked 23rd. Regardless, they are a top 10 to 15 team, in my opinion. Top 5, no. They're 10 to 15.
Who's that?
UK.
Okay.
Louisville's top 5.
Yeah, I agree. You know, Kentucky's a very talented team, even with the horribly embarrassing free throw experience by Willie Cauley-Stein.
The whole team. Get off his back.
Okay. No, I will stay on his back for that. That was horrible.
That was terrible. He missed 4 in the game. He missed 6 in a row. 2 of them were obviously lane violations on your Louisville. Thank God they just wanted to embarrass him a little more. I felt bad for him because he was sitting there talking to himself. He was really like he was screaming at himself. He didn't know what to do. He could not make the free throw.
He was kind of doing a Karl Malone with his talking, and then you know how he kind of just really hesitated and then drew people off the.
Charles Barkley. He forgot how to play basketball for about 2 minutes.
But what I was saying is, on a serious note, I was impressed with Cauley-Stein.
Oh my gosh!
What about that down the lane just ridiculous dunk he had?
Triple threat.
Everybody seemed to get out of his way, like spreading the river.
7-footer running to 4.4, 4.5 40. I'd get out of his way too.
And you know what else I noticed last night is every time Kentucky had to inbounds the ball, who was their man? Former wide receiver Cauley-Stein.
Going up high.
Why not? I mean, you can see how he was a good wide receiver in high school, can't you?
Does that kind of open the door up for other teams against Louisville? Here's a way we might be able to break the press. Throw it up high to our big guy, let him find the open guard. There it is.
Yeah, but it doesn't break the press. It gets the ball in.
Kentucky broke the press 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Yeah, Louisville forced a few turnovers in the press, which everybody expected. They're not going to not go with 0. But those were against mostly Archie Goodwin, a few, and with Mays. Ryan Harrell had 0 the entire game. We're going to talk a little bit about individual players as the show goes. But, the game in general, Kelly, was, it started off with Kentucky taking the early lead. Just a few points. It kept going back and forth. It seemed like it was a 4 or 5 point swing for the first 10 minutes or so. Then Louisville, gained ground.
Looked at one point like I think they were up by as much as 8.
They were up 8 at one point in the first half. And I think it was 8 at halftime.
Okay. It was about 8 at halftime, but I think they were up by as much as 16 or 18 at one point in the second half. 17, okay.
17 points at one point in the second half. At halftime, if you watched the show, one of my most disliked guys in the game, Doug Gottlieb, said this has a blowout written all over it. Exact quotes.
God, why does he have to even comment?
As soon as he said
Had
that,
he not said that, it would have been.
As soon as he said that, yeah, you're right. Everybody in my house, I had a couple UK fans and I had a Louisville fan. They go, it's not going to be blowout because Doug Gottlieb is 99% of the time wrong. Well, what going to happen? UK fought back, cut it to 2 at one point. 2 points. Archie Goodwin stepped up huge in the final, I guess, 6-7 minutes. bringing back Kyle Wiltshire.
Back threes. If you leave him wide open, which you should never do. Let's get that out of the way.
He's 6'10".
There were some errors there in defense, defensive strategy in leaving him open. So if he's wide open, it appears he does not miss.
And then Wiltshire hit back-to-back threes within 45 seconds. Rick Pitino, Louisville called a timeout. That's what got the run going. Cal Perry also got a technical right before all that happened as well, which it sparked him. I've never been a proponent of the coach getting a technical that sparks your team, type of thing. I'm not a fan of them giving up other team points. There's 3 points for Louisville. Russ Smith goes to the line, knocks them down, simple 2 points, right? What if they lose by 1? You could look back to the technical. I'm not a big fan of that. It seemed to actually work, though. Obviously, Wiltshire hit the 2 threes. It went from there, but how about Louisville? Russ Smith, what he brings to Louisville. If you didn't have Russ Smith, where would the Cardinals be?
I don't know. He's instant offense. You kind of give him the ball. You don't have to worry about maybe feeding it into Shane and Wayne and trying to get that type of stuff going. He pretty much just gets it and sprints down the court and normally ends up shooting a layup.
He's so fast.
So even if he doesn't get a good shot off and it's not a layup, he fades away while he's falling out of bounds and he throws it up and then he goes to the line.
It is.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
It was super ridiculous.
I mean, it's kind of almost cliche now just to continually harp on how unorthodox and strange of a game Russ Smith has. We know that. Everybody talks about it.
Archie Goodwin's kind of the same. He's very unorthodox. He loves the people touching him. He loves drawing the foul, which he's very good at. But at times he's out of control. Again, but the final minutes, Kelly, it was at 2, then they put it back to 7. Everybody's like, okay, it's over. UK cut it back to 3. Louisville put it back up to 5 or 6. They cut it back again. It was all like that. Final minute, 42 minutes was one of the longest, and it was crazy in my opinion. I never once thought UK was out of it because they kept cutting it. At the final moment, you could tell 8 seconds left, it was over. Louisville's get the ball up 3, going on the line, basically. But then, it was a great game. I love how Kentucky fought back down 17 points. They could have allowed it to be that blowout that Mr. Gottlieb thought it was going to be. It could have went up to 25, 30 points easily. Mm-hmm. But it didn't. This young team grew up a lot in the 20-minute second half.
Yeah, anytime you have as much future NBA talent as Kentucky has, and it's legitimate, surefire NBA talent, not like a highly recruited guy who kind of flakes out and, But if you have Archie Goodwin, you have Poitras even, you have
who did nothing.
Yeah, okay, he didn't.
Yeah,
but you're bound to have some of those guys who are going to come through. I was impressed with Harrow.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he's a good shooter.
All week long, in mine and John Hancock's little matchup previewed, I was lucky enough to do the point guard matchup of Siva and Harrow, and I said this is what's going to basically win one or two of these teams a game. Both of those guys almost won their team the game. What did Siva end with? 19 points?
19 points for Siva. He had 2 rebounds, only 1 assist, 1 steal.
Controlled the offense, though. 19 points. Hit, 3 threes? When did Siva ever hit
2 or 4 from three-point line? He's been hitting threes this year. He's been hitting his
ugly as can be. I hate his shot. It reminds me of a guy I used to play high school basketball with. It's ugly as can be. But It was going.
It doesn't
in
matter.
yesterday.
It goes
doesn't
in.
matter.
He was 6 of 11 from the field,
Great
5
game.
for 5 from the line, which I love.
I bet.
I mean, you remember my theory about free throws. He's a good shooter.
5 for 5.
He shoots 86% from the line this year. So, I mean, Siva is playing well. He had some, maybe mental errors, but, I mean, that happens.
But look at Harrell. Go up to Harrell.
Harrell is 6 for 15 from the field, 1 for 1 from the three-point line, 4-6 from the line,
points.
5 rebounds, 3 assists,
17.
0 turnovers.
Huge.
2 steals.
17 points.
17 points. He did have 4 fouls.
Overall stat line, if you want to look at it, Harrell beats Siva, but both of those guys. But you can't say either one because Siva and Harrell both allowed these teams to win the game.
This is something I hadn't noticed until now. Who do you think played the most minutes in the whole game?
For both teams or who?
Total.
I'm going to say probably Shane Bohannon.
It was Harrell. 39 minutes. So what about Harrell kind of coming on, maybe not playing as much? That's impressive. 0 turnovers for leading, almost playing the whole game.
After the game, you got to watch one of the most awful pregame and postgame shows on WOKY. But, you got to watch Rick and Cal talk in the postgame, which was great.
I just saw Rick.
Okay, well, I saw them both.
Okay.
So but Cal made a comment about Harrell, or said to him, I guess he mentioned it, this is where I wanted you to be at the beginning of the season. Well, obviously he was very sick. You can't really do that if you're sick and you don't even know what's going on. Even when you go to the hospital, they're like, we don't really know. He seems to be back, though. This is where I was expecting him to be when I told you last season. The Harrell I was telling you about during last season. This is where he can play.
If he can play like this, the ceiling's very high for Kentucky.
I
0 turnovers in 40 minutes of play. I mean, that is 17 points. That's a huge game.
I'm not mad at that Kentucky lost this game at all. They lost by 1 possession to, if not the number 1, number 2, number 3 team in the country on the road, came back. I am not disappointed at all. As long as they don't go out in SEC play, they have one more game before SEC play, Eastern Michigan, no problem there. Just get past that. As long as they don't go out and lose to something stupid like an Auburn, a South Carolina, like they did with Billy Glass, which it could, but maybe a week or 2 ago, maybe a month ago, I thought, oh my God, it's scary. We might lose a team or two we're not supposed to. I don't think we will now. I think we've made that much of an improvement in 3 weeks that this team, they are a force. You don't want to play them. If that 1 seed is playing UK as a 7, 8, or maybe a 5 in the Sweet 16, they're scared to death. As everybody knows, Louisville, you don't want to play Louisville. They are just, it's not about the depth. Like I said yesterday on the show, it's not about the depth. I wasn't worried at all about Louisville's, 8, 9, maybe even 10 deep. Because, look, Van Treese didn't play. Zach Price started just to bite 1.5 minutes. He was awful. Louisville's just so talented when they have Peyton Siva and Russ Smith. Russ Smith is the reason you all might win this national championship. I hate to say it. I hate to say that 2 words with Louisville, national championship, but that's a huge reason because
he's a college basketball kind of superstar.
He might be the best scorer in college basketball.
He might be. I mean, the most instant offense.
I know you got Doug McDermott up there. A couple other guys. Seth Curry's a really good scorer as well for Duke, but as an overall shooter, inside, mid-range, outside, driving to the rack, Russ Smith might be the best scorer in the country, and you know what that leads to. Louisville's good. I hope to God they don't win the championship, though.
Once again, we're going to continue breaking down the game, talking about things. If you have any comments, if you want to talk about how, Kentucky shot 48% from the free throw line.
We're going to talk about that.
They also shot 48% from the three-point line, which is kind of maybe an oddity. Call us.
Huge.
Yeah, 502-384-1450. Let us know what you think. We want to hear what you think about it. Were some of the phantom calls against Louisville, were those big? Would it have been more of a blowout if Siva didn't get whistled for 2 calls where he literally did not touch someone?
I don't even want to talk about refs.
I don't like talking about refs. We don't have to.
Let's go to our break. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM.
I fell into a ring of fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire when
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Tyler Boyd, Kelly Patrick, every Sunday, 10 to 12. Check us out on 1450tosportsbuzz.com. Got a great little lineup on there. You can see the whole show, the whole station lineup on there, from Mason and Myers in the morning to Inside the Press Box. You got the Freak Renshaw, Larry Glover, of course us, the Weekend Sports Buzz, D Huff and Nasty. You got a full lineup in there. You can find that on 1450sportsbuzz.com. And, of course, all the good blogs, UK blogs, Louisville blog, courtesy of KentuckySports.co, a little bit of CardinalConnect.com, and some other contributors on there. I see Bacon writes a few pieces as well. I love seeing Bacon blogging, because what else does Bacon have to do?
Bacon's a good writer.
Bacon is currently...
He doesn't have the best grammar, maybe not the best spelling.
Can we call Bacon on
If
there?
he had a good editor, Bacon is seriously one hell of a writer.
Can we call Bacon?
If he needs a really good editor.
He's currently on a road trip.
He is, that's right. I read this
To New
morning,
Orleans.
I think on Twitter or Facebook, he said, eating Crystal Burgers at 4 a.m. in Alabama. Call
Mac.
Bacon.
Set it up. Call Bacon. He's on the road to New Orleans. He was at Crystal eating burgers at 4 a.m. in Nashville. Douglas, Adam, get it hooked up. Call him right now.
His name's not Adam. It's Epos Vox.
Epos Vox. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm glad you reminded me. Epos Vox. But, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Give us a shout. UK UVL talk, basically, most of the show. And then, of course, Louisville Sugar Bowl. We'd love to talk to Card fans about that. Anybody traveling down there currently, maybe listening on one of the smartphone, iPhone, or Android apps, if you're listening, give us a shout. Let us know what you think about Louisville's chances against Florida. Kelly, before we get into it a little bit here, did you know today in 1954 was the first use of 24-second shot clock?
Wow, I did not know that.
That's
awesome.
Rochester versus Boston.
Implemented in college basketball.
Rochester versus Boston.
Thank God for that.
You're not kidding.
Dr. James Naismith created the game, and he wanted it to be played in a fast pace. He didn't want four corners stuff. Digger Phelps, Notre Dame, that stuff is crap.
Syracuse.
I guess you can still do it. When was it again?
1954.
So how did Digger Phelps get away? I guess you just...
I don't know if Digger's that old yet.
No, Digger Phelps, when he coached Notre Dame,
was it?
They implemented the four corners.
Huh. Well, I don't know, but that was interesting. I think high school should look into a shot clock, 35 seconds, because those guys can hold the ball for 8 minutes long if they wanted to.
See, I can relate to a lot of these top level basketball players. I played 3.5 hours of full court basketball last night, Tyler. And it was a fast paced, and I don't like to slow down stuff as much. We played 4-on-4 full court. And so we were just sprinting the whole time. I have blisters on the bottom of my feet. I got
another special today in sports, but we'll save that a little bit later in the show. It's one of the bigger things in sports history. Actually, it happened today, back in a little bit past the 1954 era. But let's look into a couple of the players. Let's start with the guards, Kelly. I know we mentioned it already, but Siva, 19 points.
It's a big game.
Russ Smith and Siva, combining for 40. What was it, 21 and 19?
Yep.
Huge. Just like everybody expected throughout the week, the guard play is what won the game.
Yeah, Shane Bohannon played stellar also.
He was
8 for 13 from the field.
20 points, 10 rebounds.
7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover for Shane, 3 steals and a block. So,
he played great.
He filled up the stat line.
As much, I do not like Shane Bohannon.
Because he's flashy.
I do not like Shane Bohannon.
I love him. I love his game. He reminds me of Corliss Williams.
A lot of Card fans don't like Terrence Jones and people. He flexed. At least we don't kiss the camera. That was a joke. And then he missed a dunk, and then 2 minutes later comes down and does an awesome dunk. And it's super awesome rock to cradle dunk. I'm not hating on the dunk. I'm just hating on you. Grow up a little bit. You just missed a dunk, and now you're coming down and rocking the cradle. I love the dunk.
It was amazing how he thought.
Pitino didn't like it.
He was so comfortable doing the 180 flashy dunk in such a big game, whereas he could have just went in and, dunked it normal with 2 hands like he does and real high percentage. You got to think a 180 is a little lower percentage
he cherry picks a lot. I noticed that. But, Russ Smith, 9 for 20. He only shot 1 3, Kelly. How crazy is that? Russ Smith, the gunner, 9 for 20. 20 shots, but 1 3.
Wow.
And, that's how I think Russ Smith is better.
Is when he
does what he's the best at, and that is driving to the rack. He's so fast. If you remember back, I know you do, 10 minutes into the first half, he got a ball in between 2 or 3 Kentucky players, Archie Goodwin and Harrow, beat them both to the rack with the ball. It was
amazing.
It was a dead sprint.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody run faster with the ball. That was John Wall speed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
John Wall, Rajon Rondo. I know that he's not that caliber of a player.
That speed.
He's not that caliber of a player. He's not that big or that long.
He's a better offensive player than both those.
You think so?
100% better offensive player than both of those.
I mean, John Wall averages 16 points a game in the NBA.
He's not a true point guard. He is a better scorer than both.
8 assists a game for John Wall in the NBA.
Well,
so, I mean,
they're different.
I'm with you. He's a better shooter than those guys.
Better shooter.
He's a better shooter.
Yes.
He's more talented, actual, skilled shooter.
Putting the ball in the basket.
But those guys are
hell of guards.
Despite neither of them being really good shooters,
they're amazing.
Their offense
Rondo
in the
might be
NBA.
the best NBA. Oh, yeah. But, that's
But no, I agree with you. Russ is really good. He's such a perfect fit for the college system. I hope he sticks around. He doesn't try to leave.
3 of 6 free throws?
Yeah, he wasn't money from the line for some reason.
Neither team was. They were Louisville 17 for 25. Kentucky was, let's scroll up here. Kentucky was 11 for 23. 12 misses. All you have to do is make 4 and you win the game. Make 4 more and you still shoot terrible percentage. You're still shooting 55, 60%, and you still win the game. I mean, come on, guys. Go to
the free throw line is really what decided it.
Coach Cal Camp Cal, boot camp, whatever you're calling it, worked.
Yeah, they're in shape. That's why, in my opinion, why Russ only shot 1 3 is because there was guys in his face. The shots weren't there.
And that's why I didn't care about the depth. I wasn't worried about continuous players being shifted 100%, fresh legs. I wasn't worried about it because the boot camp worked. It worked for the 2010 Brandon Knight team when they went through it. That kicked those 6 players into shape. Well, Kentucky basically ran with 6 yesterday with Alex Poyster's being a total no-show. I loved it, and Louisville's. Louisville.
Yeah, what's wild about Russ Smith, I think, is he's I watched the game with one of my buddies, and his dad was there. And we know about our man Dan Patrick's, one of our main writers for the
That
Kentucky
is his
side.
real name.
Dan Patrick's. It's actually his real name. He's not going to get sued. But, he's anti-Russ Smith. And my buddy's dad he's a Cards fan, but he's anti-Russ Smith.
Why?
There's a lot of people.
I'm a Kentucky fan,
It's a mixed bag on Russ Smith. I mean, there's people who love him. I do. Rick Pitino pointed out in his post-game press conference.
Have you never not loved, though?
What card player? I like my cards.
You love
I won't deny that.
You love Lamp.
I'm a homer. What's that?
You love Lamp.
I love Lamp. Sure. If Lamp played for the Cards, I'd love Lamp.
Exactly.
But, the verdict's kind of still out with some people on Russ because of his crazy, hectic, he turns the ball over. He only had 3 turnovers, but he plays such a chaotic style that it still rubs some people the wrong way, which is amazing to me. I mean, I can't blame him really. You see Russ with the ball, he shoots it. He feels he kind of knows where the rebound's going to go, so he runs and gets it, puts it back in. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat every time he has the ball.
Oh yeah, I like Russ Smith. I told you I'm a Russ Smith guy.
Do you want me to get you a Russ Smith T-shirt?
Don't ever buy me anything Louisville. Don't waste your money. I just give it right back to you. You can buy it for yourself. Buy it extra size up so you can keep it. But no, Russ Smith. I told you on the way up here. I've always liked Russ Smith. I'm a big Russ Smith fan. I don't know how he couldn't go to the NBA one day. I don't care if he's as tall as I am. He's a super fast, super athletic guy, and Russ Smith's huge. Archie Goodwin on the other side of the shooting guard realm thing had himself a great second half. Besides, he had the dumbest things at times. He had 5 turnovers. And all 5 of those turnovers were very noticeable turnovers. He would go into the paint, drive into 3 players, jump, nothing there, walk, pass it out of bounds. It was unbelievable. I mean, Archie brings the great with the bad. It's definitely one of those players. I mean, 8 for 15 shooting, though. 3 for 5 threes. Knocked down a couple huge late in the game. He played 36 minutes, 22 points, led the whole game in scoring. As a freshman, he has a lot to grow. Once Archie Goodwin hits his stride, I don't care if it's at Kentucky or if it's in the NBA, that kid's going to be good. It might not be at Kentucky. It might be 3-4 years right in the bench, coming off the bench in an NBA uniform. But when he hits that, he might be one of the better players in the league because he can drive better than most NBA players today.
He's super talented. You're right. Super talented. And he is one of those guys who could equate to being a point guard in the NBA, I think.
I don't know. I don't think he has the mental capacity to run an NBA team on the point guard.
You don't think he has the mental capacity
as a basketball IQ?
So you're calling Archie Goodwin an idiot?
Yeah, Archie Goodwin's an idiot. No, as a basketball IQ, he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. I need to get the ball to score.
He had 22 points last night. He did turn it over 5 times.
Ryan Harrell's 0. He's a point guard.
Archie was 8 of 15 from the field. That's good. 3 of 5 from the three-point line, 3 of 4 from the line, 5 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. Archie Goodwin had a heck of a game last night. He did have some mental errors.
Yeah, he did hit games, but I think we got to go to the Oxmoor Fordick and Buzzline. Kelly, guy that you are familiar with, is currently on the line.
Yes, we have our man Aaron Young on the line. He is a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual in Louisville, very successful. He is a big Cards fan, lifelong Cards fan, and he put together a strategy where they were going to put up a billboard to say, thanks for staying, Charlie Strong. Help to say, you know, Charlie, we're going to put more guys at the Card March. We're going to have guys supporting the team. Aaron, how you doing this morning?
Aaron, you there?
Do we have Aaron on the line, guys?
Look at them. E-Paws, Vox, and Matt telling us he's on the line. Then we go to say Aaron. You know, give him a great intro by Kelly there. Great intro.
I nailed the intro.
You nailed the intro, and he probably didn't hear it, so you can't do it again. Can't duplicate greatness.
I can try, but I mean,
You can't. It's like a sequel to a movie.
Could Russ Smith duplicate exactly what he did last night? No.
No.
We're in the same ballpark, Russ and I. I mean, no, I probably couldn't. But no, what he did, he put up this billboard. Charlie, thanks for staying. Thanks for turning down an SEC powerhouse and sticking with Louisville. You know, what Charlie was upset with was that specifically, not just the fan support, because as we know with the Sugar Bowl, Louisville Cardinal fans do travel to when it's a big game. They don't always show up to the little games.
They leave early.
You know, they're a specific type of fan base.
When the alcohol stops being sold, they start leaving.
Yeah.
It's like the 7th inning of baseball game.
And that's okay.
You agreed.
We're a great fan base, though. Charlie was upset that we didn't show up for the Card March, which is relatively new. They put up this billboard. Charlie, we couldn't be happier you're staying. Big Louisville, Old English L for the Louisville Cardinals. Let's see here. There's an ad on here. We believe in you. Thanks for believing in us. See you at the Card March 2013.
Matt and Adam, or E-Poles Vox, actually have it up on our KentuckySports.co/TV. It's a show. It's beautiful. Our mugs, great highlights. The billboard's up right now. Get on there, KentuckySports.co/TV to watch the show. And, of course, 1450 to sportsbuzz.com to listen in live on the online stream. But, yeah, I was driving on 65 with work the other day. I didn't know about this billboard. I think John maybe did a blog about it on the site a few days before. I didn't really pay attention. And I'm driving past it, and I look up, and there it is. It's right before the Darius Miller holding up the national championship trophy. He's smiling through it. I can see his beautiful smile. And I just read it and literally start laughing. Oh, my guy who's driving the truck, you know, he's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, that sign was in my opinion, I think it's awesome for the fan base.
It's awesome for Charlie Strong.
It's awesome for Charlie Strong. Yes, that you hit it. It's awesome for Charlie Strong, but in my opinion, I think it's kind of funny. Kind of funny.
Well, what Charlie Strong did was turn down a traditional powerhouse to stay at a school that's not traditionally a powerhouse. So that is huge, almost unprecedented.
Huge. That is huge.
Almost unprecedented.
It's like a big.
And this is saying, thanks, Charlie. We value you more than anyone could ever value.
Gonna get down on my knee, Charlie. I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna pray to 6-pound, 3-ounce baby Jesus that you stay at Louisville. I mean,
I'm okay with it.
It was just kind of I don't know. If we can get Aaron connected, we'll talk to him about it. Because, I mean, from a fan base, it's cool. I mean, just like I'll give credit for the Lexington is a Birds billboard I put up. That's a great idea. I'm not taking anything from it, the Louisville fan base and, you know, El Razor.
You don't like begging the coaches, though.
I just don't like the begging type of thing. The El Razor thing, that was awesome. Great move. Congrats. It was
so you're supportive of that.
I'm supportive of the banter, not of more of the – I just think it's funny.
Well, we got our man, I believe, on the line with us. How you doing this morning, Aaron?
Yeah.
Great. We appreciate you coming on with us. We were just kind of going back and forth about this billboard. I love it. You know, what Charlie Strong did was he turned down a traditional SEC powerhouse job in Tennessee. He did turn it down.
Yeah,
he turned it down. Tyler, you know that.
He turned it down.
And he stayed at Louisville. And what he's doing is him and Jurek are putting together a atmosphere of building something that's going to be much bigger than it's ever been before. And you guys put together this billboard to really say thank you, Charlie. We love it. I love it. What motivated you to do it, Aaron?
Well, it's just one of those things. You know, we really just wanted to say thanks, Charlie, for staying here helping build this program, and really investing in Louisville athletics in the future.
And that's what he did. I mean, Charlie, he's found, the school that gave him a chance. No other school gave him a head coaching chance for whatever reason. And he appreciates it. He's getting paid. He's getting rewarded handsomely. You could say, that maybe that's a little too much of a salary for the head coach at Louisville. Regardless, it's what's happening.
You pay for what you want. I disagree. You pay for what you want, and Charlie's, in my opinion, worth it.
Charlie's worth it. He's a great coach. We're building something. We're still building. And this is going to have Charlie's thumbprint on it. If he sticks around, Louisville turns into – I'm not saying they're going to win the national championship next year. I mean, if they build something maybe similar to what Miami did in the 80s, come out of nowhere and really build a football powerhouse, which could happen, Tyler.
Now, Aaron, was this just you, or was this a group of maybe you and a couple of guys a group of people that put this together?
There were 26 people that went in to help get that message across. But it really was just, some of the people I didn't even know personally. It was just that people were reaching out to me after it got going that were just asking how they could help. It was really a grassroots approach that grew and grew and grew.
I love it. Aaron, did you? I assume you watched the Louisville-Kentucky game yesterday. Louisville did win. What did you think of the Cardinals beating the Cats yesterday?
Well, it's always a huge rivalry in this state. I don't think you really realize how big it is until you kind of look at some of the other rivalries throughout the nation. But it's always good to see Louisville win. I thought UK was a good team as well, but it was just a hard-fought game, and I love the rivalry.
You got to love it. I mean, it's as intense of a passionate rivalry as there is out there. I know that I believe you're going to see the Colts play today.
Nice.
Is that right, Aaron?
Yes. Yep, we're on our way up there right now.
Wow. And then you're going to go, like I am, to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. So, I mean, you're a very active sports enthusiast.
Yeah. Well, we'll be down to Sugar Bowl next week, and hopefully, I think all Louisville fans realize that we have a great challenge in playing Florida, but if Louisville can pick up that win, then I guess we'll have more SEC wins than Kentucky, so we'll go wrong there.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
This is a good move.
Yeah. So, Aaron, we appreciate you coming on with us. I look forward to seeing you in New Orleans. I'll be giving you a call when I'm on my way down there. But have a good day today, and we'll talk with you soon. Thank you very much, Aaron.
No problem. And guys, I just want to say one thing. There's a good friend of mine, Bobby Lee, that helped me get the funds together for the U of L billboard. I just want to thank him for his support of U of L Athletics.
Bobby Lee, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Charlie appreciates you. Go Cardinals. Thank you very much, Aaron.
At ePaul's Vox got a little kick out of that for some reason.
Got a little kick out of what?
Your little. I'm gonna call you.
I am. I'm gonna
I'm
go down there and have a beer
there.
together. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this trip to New Orleans.
You were there. You weren't there for the Final Four. A lot of Card fans were. So kind of familiar area. If you beat Florida, you'd also finally beat a ranked team, as Kentucky has done, and Louisville has not. So,
that's true.
There's a lot of good things on the line here. Joker's gonna win a bowl game. It's going to be great.
Joker's not going to coach in the bowl game.
He's not coaching in it. He's just helping him around practicing. Okay,
yeah. I read that he wasn't. I may be wrong. Call us 502-384-1450.
If you got the lowdown on this,
if you got the inside on Joker's activity, I want to know, what his salary is as a wide receivers coach there. I want to know what he's doing.
Where he's living.
Is he going to coach? I mean, did he have to downgrade dramatically in his house?
384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford. You can buzz on 414-1450 if you want to be more promiscuous, I guess, or whatever the term is. I don't know. We'll be right back here on the Weekend Sports Buzz.
I fell into a burning ring of fire, went down, down, down.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We had our good little segment there with Aaron Young talking about the billboard, supporting Charlie Strong, letting him know we appreciate him.
Bobby Lee, the Cat fan, funding Louisville things.
No, he was funding the Indianapolis Colts trip, Tyler. Let's stay focused here. We do have a new segment that'll be coming on here shortly. I believe Epos Fox and Matt should have our intro music. Very exciting. Shortly, but it's called You're Dead Wrong. And our Dead Wrong recipient this week is Doug Gottlieb, who at the halftime said Louisville. Listen, guys, this is intense. Listen.
This is our Dead Wrong music. And there's Dead Wrong music by Kelly Patrick there. Probably sending the wrong link. But Doug Gottlieb, if you're looking at our KentuckySports.co/TV, the live show, it's a great picture of him up here. But he's dead wrong. And because why?
Because he said at halftime, this is clearly getting ready to be a Louisville blowout.
Clearly. Written all over it. Everybody Twitter blew up. Everybody blew up. I know we mentioned earlier in the show, but he's our dead wrong segment.
My question is, how do you, in a rivalry that's so divisive between the Louisville and Cardinal fan base, how does Doug Gottlieb manage to have both fan bases hate him?
Doug Gottlieb has every fan base in America hates him. The man robbed credit cards at Oklahoma State. And now he works for one of the most prominent.
I think it was at Notre Dame.
Wherever it was.
And then he had to transfer to Oklahoma State.
Regardless.
Where he had a pretty good career.
He's actually, I think, the Big 12 assist leader.
Yeah, I think he led the league with, the nation with like 11 assists.
The big nose can throw out some passes. I will say that. But he can also steal credit cards, like he did for Notre Dame, I guess. And now he works for one of the most prominent networks, prominent names in the world, CBS. And he stole a bunch of credit cards.
He's on a lot of ESPN, too.
That's what's dead wrong in sports this week. We're going to start doing that segment every Sunday. Hopefully we'll have a good one for you next week as well. I'm sure something new will lead up in the following week. It is the new year, Kelly. It is.
You have a resolution you want to get off your chest?
No.
Okay.
I'm a pretty good guy.
All right.
Maybe stop chewing my nails. That's been a resolution I've tried every year, and it's never worked.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't have a New Year's resolution that I can think of right now. I may come up with one between now and the next year.
You want to bet? I have a crazy bet for next year.
If it involves cutting my hair, like I think I just heard you say, then no.
All right, never mind. It did, because I just would love to see you cut your hair once. You have a beautiful hair up here. Pat Riley, slick back right now. But the game, final score 80-77. It was 3 points. The line was what, 8.5, 9 points. So Vegas was wrong. You weren't as smart as you thought.
It's hard to predict stuff like that. I mean, it was like Matt said. The reason Matt took the bet was it's a rivalry game. So I mean, you never know what's going to happen in that type of stuff, especially at the end when people are hitting crazy contested 3-pointers, just nothing but net.
Nothing but net.
It was
very bottom. And getting and ones that weren't even fouls. I guess you mentioned the refs in the break. The refs are terrible. Let's get it out there right now. The refs for both sides, both team bases, were terrible. If one fan base says it was bad for the other, you're lying, because it was bad on both sides. There were multiple times, naming a couple here. Peyton Siva, he did not foul Archie Goodwin on that 3, the and 1. He did not touch him. He went right past him. There's one for Louisville, one for Kentucky here. The end of the first half, Archie Goodwin got mugged by Peyton Siva, straight up mugged, no whistle. Another one was when Nerlens Noel went up for an inbounds pass. I don't remember who it was. Came across him. I think it was Bohannon. Basically took out his whole arm, went out of bounds to Nerlens. They called nothing. Louisville, Siva walked. He got away with that. Louisville and Kentucky this game was terrible on fouls. I can't stand it. I hate watching games like that.
It really did affect Louisville as they ended up having four guys with 4 fouls.
Gorgie got a foul on him, and he wasn't even in. I don't even think he was in the play.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible.
Yeah, they were inconsistent. If they're going to let them play, then let them play.
You got to call everything if you're going to call the most ticky-tack fouls out there. I mean, they let some big ones go, but they called the ones that are, just little fondles. I don't understand it. I can't stand refs these days. They're drastically worse. I guess it's more the
cameras, and we get to see everything.
Well, yes, it's the replays, it's the cameras, but it's also the national. It's us. We're big babies. Let them play. I mean, go back to the Shaq swinging on
Brad Miller
days. Go back to where you could actually choke slam a dude and not only get a real foul. Go back to the real days of sports. Just like football, we're a bunch of pansies on the football field.
Yeah, the NFL in particular is really.
We wear pads. You might as well. You don't even need pads in the NFL anymore because you can't touch anybody. I mean, I can't stand it. It's all sports are going this route,
speaking
except for rugby. Those are the only men out there these days.
And they don't get paid.
They don't get paid.
Speaking of football,
I hate refs.
the Bengals play today at 1 o'clock against the
They're in the playoffs,
Baltimore
right?
Ravens. They're already in the playoffs. It'd be nice to beat the Ravens, though, because it'll affect their seeding. They'll basically either have to play the Ravens again or they'll have to play the New England Patriots. So me being a Bengals fan, that's primarily what I'm really looking to today.
I'm surprised it took you 52 minutes to throw out your Bengals reference. I thought you did that a lot earlier in the show because I know you're very excited they made the playoffs.
I am very excited. 2 years in a row they made the playoffs. It's huge. I'm a firm believer in sticking with the head coach, Marvin Lewis. Continuity within the program is huge. They've got some good young players, Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, Geno Atkins. They've got stars all over the defensive side of the ball. So, I really like it. I hope they win today. The Colts, as Aaron mentioned, they're playing today in Indianapolis against the Houston Texans.
Also going to the playoffs.
Also going to the Texans. So it's I'm sorry,
Also
going to the
Texans.
playoffs. But the Texans are also going to the playoffs. So really there's not much on the line, I don't think. As far as seeding, I'm sure there is. I don't know the exact implications there. But it'll be interesting to see how this being the last week of the NFL season, how it kind of shakes out. I think the Cowboys, they have a big game today against the Redskins.
I don't care about the NFL anymore. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for football to be over.
Okay.
I can't wait for football to be over. I'm just putting it out there.
I'll have to tell Farrell about that.
I'm going to tell Farrell.
I'll tell him about it. And I'm sorry, the Dallas Redskins game is let's see, that's tonight at 8:20. I think that's a big game. Tony Romo.
Who was that again?
It's the Dallas Cowboys against the Washington Redskins. So either one of them wins, they're well, if the Cowboys win, they're in the playoffs.
Cowboys win and they're in.
Yep.
And so that allows Tony Romo to blow it in the playoffs and make Cowboy fans across the nation pissed in about a week or two.
Or, kind of like Eli Manning did, he could make a name for himself. They could win.
He already
They
did.
could go on an amazing run. Des Bryant is playing really good.
He already made a name for himself by dropping a field goal.
Yeah.
But
But you can make up for it. Look at Eli Manning, I reference. Eli Manning, he had
He's 2 Super Bowls.
reputation as being kind of a bum.
And he also has
not
two-
necessarily
also
that
has
good.
2
I'm talking
rings.
before then. And then out of nowhere, he goes on 2 magical runs to the playoffs and wins 2 different Super Bowls. In his legacy, he's a future Hall of Famer.
I guess.
So, Tony Romo still could come through and end up going down in the
agree.
record books as being real good.
I guess there's not too many other playoff contending games. And Denver, Kansas City. If Denver wins, I think they steal the home field throughout most of the playoffs in their side of things. So the NFL is pretty set in stone right now. Adrian Peterson, I guess that could be one of the bigger news things of the day. 208 yards needed to break Eric Dickerson's record for rushing yards in the season. Eric Dickerson came out over the week and said, "I don't want it to be broken. I'd lie if I told you I do." He also, said, "But if there's a guy that should break it and would break it, it's Adrian Peterson. He would respect it if it was Adrian Peterson. I can see if it was Chris Johnson, he'd be pissed off, type of thing." Adrian Peterson, obviously one of the best, if not the best running back in 15 years.
Yeah, I have to reference back to Barry Sanders to really think of somebody who can run like that.
Every game, every year.
It's that exciting. Anytime he touches the ball, he can take it to the house.
And
that's
he's
my
consistent.
opinion. Call us 384-1450. Tell me if you think Emmitt Smith was that exciting.
While we're
I
on-
don't. Emmitt Smith was great.
He was great,
He may
but he
still
wasn't
be the
exciting.
all-time leader in the history of the NFL in rushing yards. But as far as explosive, just really exciting to watch whenever they get the ball.
Adrian
Peterson, Barry Sanders, they're right up there. Those are two of the guys that just amazing runners.
I guess we'll stick a little bit off the topics here. We'll have final couple minutes before we get back into the local talk in the second hour. And, of course, at 11 o'clock, talking to Farrell Elliott for the last time for a while. He's our guy, the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. He's the commissioner, the Big Freeze. We've talked to him for the last 23, 24 weeks in a row about fantasy football. Last week was the final week where we get to find out who won the 3 leagues that were going on here, and I can't wait. I'm already excited, for the draft next year, Kelly. I know it'll get here just like that because look, basketball season, Louisville, UK is already over with.
This stuff is flying by.
Stuff flies by, especially when you're doing what we're doing. I love doing this. Duke and Ryan really appreciate 1450 right here. One of the best, locally owned radio stations in the area, the only locally owned
sports radio
station. The other today in history I wanted to, kind of hold off was 1926, Kelly. Is that the year? Do you already know what I'm talking about?
I didn't. Nope.
Chicago.
I mean, I'm reading what you're reading.
Yeah, you're reading what I'm reading. Now you know. But the Chicago Tribune reported something huge. This is the Tigers when they threw the 4-game series to the White Sox in 1917 to the Chicago White Sox, obviously to win the pennant. It was never substantiated. But that was one of the biggest moments in sports history.
Yeah.
Right
up
there. There's a
also
show.
The Black Sox scandal in 1919 was big too.
All HBO, Boardwalk Empire. I know you don't watch.
I haven't gotten around to watching that yet. I'd like to.
They talk about this.
Do they?
They have a couple shows during it was last season where they bring. This is involved in the show. It was during the time of the prohibition. The alcohol. It was in around that era. So this was huge during that time. And it was one of the, if not the biggest scandals in sports, in MLB at least.
Yeah.
So
a lot of shady stuff going on back then.
A lot of shady stuff
involving Al Capone and stuff like that. And kind of neat.
Birthdays today. There's
a lot of famous.
Of course, Matt McCarthy, the most famous birthday of them all.
One of the arguably the best running back in the history of middle school football in the country.
That's true.
So, I mean, you got to put them right up there with the other birthdays from today when you include Matt McCarthy, LeBron James, Kenyon Martin. Matt reminds me a lot of Kenyon Martin. A.J. Brzezinski, Tiger Woods, Kerry Collins, Sandy Koufax. I don't know these. Layla Ali.
Layla Ali, locally, obviously Muhammad Ali's daughter.
Who's Sheckler?
Ryan Sheckler's one of the best skateboarders these days.
Okay.
He always wins the tournaments. That's all I know. I guess the only reason I put him on there is because he was like #1 these days. He's the Tony Hawk of the 2000s, I guess.
Really? I didn't know that.
He's very good. That's all I know. I don't know anything about it because I'm not a skateboarder. If you're a skateboarder, 384-1450, you let us, Kelly, know about Ryan Sheckler. Cause I bet you love him. No, he's one of those guys. He's a Bieber of the skateboard world.
Bieber
of the skateboard.
So what you mean by that is he's a very handsome man.
The girls love him. He had do you remember he had a show on TV? I don't remember what channel it was.
I don't.
Was he? I don't remember. Regardless, that's who he is. But my favorite birthday, guy we don't, controversy over the years. Tiger Woods' birthday today. He's 1975 was born. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that. Tiger's old now. Matt's old, but Tiger's old.
Yeah.
Crazy. I wish Tiger was young. I loved watching Tiger.
I know this is kind of all over the place. Tiger currently has how many majors? Is it 14?
No.
He's got to catch.
You got to catch him to get there. He has 8.
He has 8. Is that right?
If I'm correct.
Best results. He has 14 majors.
He has 14. He has 14
results in major championships. 14 wins.
What's Jack's? 18.
That's what I was saying.
Jack's is 18.
So I think he's at 18.
That's right.
My question to you, Tyler, is, and I know we're a little all over the place, but this is what we do on the weekend.
We got just a minute or so. We're fine.
How many? How close do you think he gets to 18? He matches Jack. I mean, does he exceed Jack?
I think he exceeds.
Do you know Jack? What's that?
Do I know Jack? I know Jack Daniels.
You think he exceeds what Jack did?
I think he beats Jack, and I hope he's coming here in 2014. I don't think it'll be then, but the PGA Championship will be right here at Valhalla in 2014. I will definitely be there. So it'd be cool to see him win another one here, as I got to see him win one in 2000. That was a fun event. Anyways, it's 11 o'clock. We need to get her break so we can get to Farrell Elliott, get back onto the local sports. Let's talk more about this game. We haven't mentioned half of what happened yesterday. And, of course, I know you want to talk Sugar Bowl. So we'll be right back. Stick with us. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz right here on 1450 AM.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM.
If I leave here tomorrow.
Hour 2 of the Weekend Sports Buzz taking over your airways, 1450 AM. Check us out on 1450sportsbuzz.com. And, of course, livingforless.org. We're always brought to you by livingforless.org here on 1450. It's a great website where you can steal deals, basically. $40 values. You can buy it for $15. Places like Angio's, Boom Boss Pizza, Bistro 42, Goose Creek Diner, you name it on there, it's on there, Kelly. That's just a few of them. There's golf courses like Covered Bridge, Fuzzy Zoller's Covered Bridge. You also have Fuzzy Zoller Champions Point on there. There's a lot of good stuff. Roosters. I'm looking on the Matt has it pulled up on the show right now, KentuckySports.co/TV. You can check it out. Again, it's livingforless.org. I promise you get on there, you will save yourself money each weekend. Every time you want to take your honey out to dinner, take your wife out for a little date, get away from the kids, get on livingforless.org. You'll save yourself some money. Kelly, it's 11 o'clock, which means we got to go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line to talk to somebody maybe for the last time for a few weeks, a couple months.
We'll keep them on, even though fantasy football season is.
Oh, we're actually going to go to the truth first. The truth is on the line. See, the guys didn't tell us. The truth is on the line. Truth, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing? Good morning.
We're doing good, Truth. I don't. It was a good game, Truth. I got to say, Louisville's a great team. Kentucky showed me a lot.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you what. I want to try to keep the Kentucky Wildcats fans quiet, but they got hope because Louisville's ranking. Kentucky's not ranked. Louisville's ranking the top 6, top 5, and Louisville barely beat.
Yeah.
Lucatino had a chance to blow Calipari out this year.
I'm sorry, Truth. We're having a little bit of trouble hearing you there. I don't know if that's a technical issue on our side. Truth, are you there?
Yeah, you there?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
You can hear me better now.
We can hear you a lot better now. Thanks. So you think Louisville is ranked very high, and it was not a good thing that Kentucky stayed so close with them. Is that right?
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you something. Gave Kentucky fans some hope for their team to go to the tournament this year.
That's true. That's very true. Truth, you said it right on the dot. A couple weeks ago, I was kind of nervous what's going to happen through SEC play and, maybe a first weekend exit tournament when it gets to NCAA. Now, I'm expecting a deeper run. I really am. This showed that Kentucky can compete with a top 3 team in the country. On the road, I'm very happy as a Kentucky fan.
Everybody down here now, everybody said they're going to the Final Four. They said they're going to be one of the teams you don't want to play in March.
If this was a team that was a 5 to 8 seed and had to play a 1 seed in the second weekend, that 1 seed is not going to be happy.
I wouldn't want to see them, do you?
No,
but I wouldn't.
Let y'all know, get ready for Big Ten or Cody Fellas Tuesday.
Yep.
Watch them while we go on the road and beat Alva Hawkeyes. Y'all people get y'all TV ready, popcorn ready, because Cody Fellas is ready to go to work.
Well,
Happy New Year.
You too, Truth. Have a good New Year. Appreciate the call as always. Indiana, that's my team, Kelly. I told you a couple weeks ago I'm sticking with it. My team to cut down the nets. I hate to say it. I don't want Indiana or Louisville to ever cut the nets down while I'm on this earth. Mm-hmm. But I hate to say it. I think it's Indiana. If it's not Indiana, it's Louisville. If it's not Louisville, Kansas, maybe Kentucky now. There's 10, 12, maybe 15 teams out there that can win the national championship, in my opinion. It's wide. This might be one of the more open years in a while. You go back, 2010, it was pretty open. Obviously Butler made the run. You had UConn there, Duke, Kentucky in the Final Four, but Kentucky really wasn't supposed to be there. 2010-11, the Brandon Knight era. It's pretty open this year, in my opinion. I know you have Louisville, obviously.
Yeah. Well,
you should.
I think Louisville's the best team out there. I really do.
You should.
I think Duke's really good, though. I think you may be under,
I have to overlook Duke. But let's go back to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, because now he's there. He's not Farrell. Farrell's not there. Adams. He must be sleeping in. Anyways, if we don't get Farrell on today, it's okay. But
we'll have him on again soon.
We'll cover it for Farrell ourselves real quick. The Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. He's the commissioner. We've had him on for weeks. We love to talk to Farrell every Sunday. The league ended last week. The main event, I Want to Go to Vegas League. There was 1 or 2 more. I can't remember the exact names of it, but they finished last week. It would be cool to find out who's the overall champions of this. Other people can actually get on kffsc.com if they want to look themselves. If you're listening, if you're in the league and you want to know, get on there and check it out. It was a fun league. Cannot wait for next year, because that's Farrell. If Farrell's listening, he wants to hear us say it. Fantasy football is not over. It's always 365 days a year.
Yeah. So, whether it be you studying which offensive line is in the offseason, kind of forming some star-studded lineup, so you can pick maybe the underrated running back next year.
Watching
have
who's
those
getting
big
new
hogs in front of
contracts
him.
And going where, what not.
Paying attention all offseason, and I'll be honest, I didn't do it so much this past year, but it matters.
We weren't primed. What me and Kelly, we were basement leaguers, as we like to call it here locally. we weren't ready for the big league. We went in very
Obviously.
cocky. Very cocky.
Tyler was guaranteeing he was going to win the championship.
I was hot at first. I was like 5-1. It felt great and ended up not even having like the best record.
But what KFFSC does is just what Tyler kind of alluded to, is they bring you into the big leagues of fantasy football. If you're sick of playing in leagues with your buddies you went to high school with,
there's no updating really.
Maybe the commissioner collects all the money and then he gets a DUI and you don't get your money.
I'm assuming that may happen to you.
That happened to me. But, I mean, things like that happen to everybody. Unless you're playing in the big leagues. KFFSC.
Join it next year.
The draft is a blast. It's at the Horseshoe Casino in southern Indiana.
3 days long.
You get to have the Louisville, I believe, the cheerleaders.
It was the dance team.
The dance team handing out they put the draft picks up on the board, and it's doing it the right way. You know, if you win, you're going to get your money. You know, you're playing against teams that's going to set their lineups.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about having a bum couple of teams in your league that they don't pay attention.
Tell me you're not okay with somebody forgetting to set Adrian Peterson or somebody in the lineup, though. You're okay.
I'm okay with it, but it's good to know you're truly being tested. You're playing at the elite level. I mean, it's
high-stake fantasy football. These guys are coming in, and they're going to pull somebody out of the bottom of the free agent list, and you're going to be like, what? And then he's going to pull 30 points that week that he's never on the roster again. That's what these guys are so good at.
You should have seen some of the guys we met driving from wherever,
Wisconsin.
Ohio, Wisconsin, all over. They go to Vegas to do these.
The number one fantasy football player preseason of this year was here. They had the top guys. We had a guy from Ohio, Jason Kahn, joined us. He won a lot of money in Vegas playing fantasy football the year before.
A few $100,000.
They came with a group, a bunch of Brown fans. One of them may have got arrested. It was a wild weekend at the Horseshoe Casino.
It is. It's a real good time. You get to see people and talk to people who really know what they're doing because they take it serious. So, I mean, if you're not a fantasy football guy and you don't want to be, it's not for you. Yeah. But if you like fantasy football, it's where you need to be.
KFFSC.
KFFSC.com.
Get on there. Check it out.
It's where it's at.
You'll like it. You might even want to join it next year. I know I have a few buddies already that told me they're in. I told Farrell he's excited. So that's next year. Got a lot of NFL today, so of course, follow that. The games, playoffs are coming up strong. Thanks to Kelly's guy, Aaron Young. Little billboard talk earlier. I still think it's a joke, but
it's great. We can hold on to a great coach. We have a coach that could have left, could have went to a bigger job, and he didn't. He stayed here. Louisville's more used to John L. Smith going to Michigan State. To Bobby Petrino leaving for the Falcons. Charlie Strong could have left. He didn't. He could have got
I like Charlie.
A better job, technically, historically, with the Tennessee Volunteers, or maybe somewhere else. He's staying, and that's huge. And they know that it's important, and they're thanking him for it. Let him know that we value it.
A little bit back to basketball here before we hit our break. A guy that I need to talk about for Kentucky, we haven't mentioned, and Louisville as well, the centers. Nerlens Noel and Gorgie Zhang. Gorgie Zhang's parents were in town. They looked great. I saw pictures of them. They were in the crowd. They probably didn't know what was going on because they don't speak English. They've never watched a basketball game. They never saw Gorgie play or even touch a basketball until yesterday. Gorgie had. I told a couple of my friends before the game. Gorgie was either going to have one of the games where he just dominates, like one of his better games of his career, because his parents are there and because he hits that moment, or he's going to have the game where he struggles because it's been his first game back. He might have fouls, which he did. And that he struggled. Gorgie Zhang, besides, he had a 2-3 minute stretch in the second half where he did impact the game a little bit. He had a block, he had a dunk, put back dunk, I believe. It was a small impact, but overall, Gorgie was not really there. But Nerlens Noel, only I believe 8 points, if I'm correct, Kelly.
8 rebounds, 8 points,
couple blocks.
He did have 2 steals, 2 blocks. So I mean,
overall he was sick after the game. We found out. Cal Perry said after the game he's been sick for 3 or 4 days. He also said that's no excuse. This is, you don't even feel it when you're playing. It's all after the game. But he played well. He had some good moves. The center matchup was exactly what I thought it was going to be. They washed.
It was about a wash. You're right, because you look at Gorky. He had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The thing about these two guys is offensively, I mean, Gorgie was 3 for 4 from the field goals. He only shot the ball 4 times. He did turn it over once. Noel 4 for 5 for field goals. He turned it over twice. So I mean, really, they're efficient. They're efficient type of guys. They're not going to shoot it a lot and really negatively impact the team. They're going to be a defensive presence in there.
I mean, you also
got to
look at Cauley Stein, though. He's the one who impressed me for UK overall. Obviously, Ryan Harrow was my most impressive player game, but a guy who, you know, there's always an impact player for the UK over the last 4 years. DeMarcus Cousins had his breakout against Louisville. He was 18 points, 18 rebounds. Gilchrist and Davis both had their breakout. They're welcome to the stage last year against Louisville. It just seems there's always a guy. It was kind of Willie Cauley-Stein, 3 for 4 shooting. I know he only had 6 points, but he had huge 6 points.
8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks.
Played great. I was super impressed with Willie Cauley-Stein. He is a football player.
Yeah.
He's a football player. That's what he grew up. He's also one of the best baseball players in high school, in his state at that time, too. It would be crazy seeing a 7-footer up the bat, wouldn't it?
Such a big strike zone. I could strike him out.
You could strike him out. I could probably strike him out, too. It's on left-handed because all you got to do is just somehow hit the corners. But he's huge. And, I mean, that's why his athletic ability, though,
it is
out the door.
I forget who I heard him compared to last night. It was an older center. But, God, it's slipping me right now. But he can really run the floor well, and he's huge.
He's huge.
He makes everybody else look small.
He's strong. He's not one of those clumsy 7-footers. Very athletic, good on the feet. I love him. I hope he sticks around for another year or two.
That would be huge. But he is projected as a mid to late first rounder.
He is, but I don't think he'll jump into that lottery, which will keep him around, which is great. Wiltshire will stick around. I mean, everybody knows what's coming next year. I'm not worried about it because this team's good. I've said it all year. Poitras, though, good. Wake up, Poitras. Actually, there's one of the quotes John Calipari either said after the game or maybe even this morning doing a little workouts that he's going to do pre-practice workouts every day with Alex Poitras until he gets to where he should be. That's a lot of dedication right there. You're doing an individual workout every day of practice before practice to get one guy. That's one guy that Kentucky needs to be a Final Four type of team is Alex Poitras because he can put up 20 a night. He needs to wake up. If he does, it's huge. But, on the other side of things, let's talk about him again, Shane Bohannon. How huge was Shane Bohannon last night? That 360 turnaround fadeaway he did was ridiculous. How does a
crazy.
6 foot – he's Chuck Hayes.
He's Chuck Hayes with a little bit more talent.
A little bit more talent.
Whether he'll play as long – I mean, Chuck Hayes is still on the Kings roster. So, I mean, Chuck Hayes has really maximized his ability.
Yes.
He's made a lot of money in the NBA for a long time.
Chuck Hayes does something that nobody can do. He is something that you just don't have.
Yeah, you either have it or you don't.
Exactly.
He's got that Charles Barkley type mentality of rebounding the ball, and it maybe not. I do think that Shane is actually more talented than Chuck.
Oh, he's definitely more talented.
Does he have the work ethic, and does he have what Chuck has internally to make it?
Not a chance.
He might.
No, he doesn't. Chuck Hayes never blew a kiss. That's right there. They're total different guys. Chuck Hayes is not cocky like he is. They're total different guys. This is a little comparison of smaller, big guys.
Yeah, smaller, big guys who can play maybe the
Very
4 or at times even against a
what was
center
his shooting?
and score.
What did he shoot yesterday?
8 for 13 from the field.
And he had a couple easy dunks, cherry picking as I mentioned earlier. But
he was huge.
He's
Corliss Williamson.
He's a big dude, and that was one of his. I think that might have been as good a game as he played against Florida in the NCAA tournament.
It looked a lot like the guy that we saw win the regional Most Valuable Player award in the NCAA tournament.
Was he your was he your most impressive Cardinal yesterday? Being as you really probably didn't expect him to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to really compare him versus Russ. Russ is obviously a unique player. But Shane was 8 or 13 from the field, very efficient. He only turned the ball over once. He got 3 steals. I mean, when you have an efficient guy like that, that is huge.
I mean, Russ is going to do it. He's
going to shoot a lot. If he shoots close to 50%, you're happy.
Oh, God. If
he was 9 for
20%, you're happy.
Yeah, but, I mean, Shane, 8 for 13. So, I mean,
it's
tough. They were both, I would say, equally valuable yesterday in the win.
I guess just, there's definitely goods and bads to this game for both teams. Louisville won it, and moving on from there. Louisville has the Big East play next, starting the new year. You're getting right into it. Providence on Wednesday, same day as the Sugar Bowl. Expect Louisville maybe to lose by 30, just like last year, and then they're bringing on the Fire Rig.
No, I don't see that coming on. I mean, you do see surfacing on social media, a lot of different stuff right now. Kentucky fans saying you guys haven't won a title in 27 years. Keep your mouth shut.
That's a long time. I'm glad I'm not a Card fan. Let's go to Optional 40 and buzz on before we hit our break. As our guy Carolina Steve is on the line. Carolina, are you still in Carolina?
Well, I'm actually in West By God, Virginia.
Okay, getting everywhere. Going through ACC country.
Yeah, I'm coming back to Louisville. What we were talking about, Shane Bohannon, I'd rather have Montrezl Harrell
Yes.
any day over him.
I would totally agree with you. Montrezl Harrell has the better mindset on the court. He's super long. He's a better athlete, in my opinion. But, you can't take anything from Bohannon in Carolina. He played great. But, yes, Montrezl Harrell was Louisville's best bench player without a doubt.
I like Montrez because of where he's from.
I know. I knew that's what you were angling at.
He's
there.
from Virginia, isn't he?
And he's variable. I'm sorry, he's very, very valuable.
Also in North Carolina, which is also the home of Robert Gurley, who is freshman tailback for the University of Georgia.
Wow. A little hometown.
That area produces some pretty good athletes, and everybody wants to compare him. There's another basketball player from that area who I compare him to, and that is Buck Williams.
Buck Williams. Well, Carolina, let me ask you this. How about that win yesterday for your Carolina Tar Heels?
You know what, yesterday I sat down, I watched Duke, I watched Carolina, and I watched Kentucky and U of L.
Great day of sports right there.
Basketball game.
What was that, Carolina?
They got that's Seth Curry. I've seen the projected draft. I haven't seen him in it. Why they don't have him projected in the first round, I don't know.
I'm not for sure either. We'll pull that up here on our break, and we'll throw that out there for you when we come back. Carolina, as always, we appreciate the call. And when you do travel back here to Jeffersonville, be safe.
I am. I'm on my way there. According to where I am, I'm 302 miles from Louisville. Y'all have a nice day.
All right, Carolina, you should be back here at around 4 o'clock. Anyways, Carolina Steve calling from ACC country all weekend. He called in yesterday. He was in North Carolina. Carolina called there. I know we got to hit our break here. Kelly, why don't you pull up that NBA draft, and we'll read that over, see what kind of lottery picks we got going on locally, maybe Seth Curry. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Would you still remember me? Well, I must be traveling on now.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Tell me, what do you see when you're looking at me? Whoa, whoa, whoa. On a mission to be what I'm destined to be. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Kelly Patrick, Tyler Boyd. Rick Pitino and John Calipari know all about utilizing a winning strategy on the basketball court. Allow Jamie Cox of Keller Williams, Louisville East, to put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there's never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing, and results, contact Jamie Cox at 502-593-5454 or email Jamie directly at jamie@thederbycityrealtor.com. That's Jamey @thederbycityrealtor.com.
I always see his signs around my house out in Middletown, St. Matthews area. He's dominating it.
He is just tearing,
I love this green
tearing
screen.
up the market.
KentuckySports.co/TV, our green screen. Matt, maybe we do a little weather here coming up in a minute? Can I try some
Could
weather?
you somehow get some weather going right now?
I wanted
Matt?
to work it. Get the weather pulled up. Add EPOS Vox. Pull it up. We'll get that going. But
during the break,
yes.
we were looking at the NBA. We tried to determine what the most popular or most
this
credible
one I've
site
used
is.
most year.
NBADraft.net. And
pretty legit.
Before Tyler or I, either of us really reviewed it and then decided maybe we liked another site based on Louisville or Kentucky.
We shook hands and agreed.
We said NBADraft.net is the credible source for NBA mocks, according to our show. So let's see here. The 2013 mock this year, the number 1 overall pick is Cody Zeller. Nerlens Noel's number 2. We go down the list. We see Archie Goodwin at number 11, followed immediately by Alex Poitras at number 12.
And
then
16?
we got Willie Cauley-Stein at 16.
So that's 4 That's in the top 16 right there for Kentucky. That's almost 4 lottery picks. Is there another guy in there?
Nope, that's
Ryan
all.
Harrell was in there 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's not. I assume he will emerge back in there over in the next week or so. No Louisville players, and as Carolina asked, no Seth Curry. There's only one Duke player in this draft, and that was Mason Plumlee, I believe. Or was there even a Duke player in this draft?
No, Mason Plumlee was.
Regardless, it doesn't really matter.
Then we go to the 2014 mock. Number 1 overall pick to the Washington Wizards is projected to be Andrew Wiggins, who may end up as a Wildcat. Don't know yet. First Kentucky guy is James Young at number 5. Then we got Andrew Harrison at number 7. We got Aaron Harrison.
The Twins.
At 16. Then we got Gorgie Jang going number 26.
This is the 2014 draft. Remember that.
Number 26 in the first round, toward the end of the first round.
First Louisville player in 2 years, or maybe 5 or 7 or 8.
They have Shane Bohannon being drafted 39th overall, which is about midway almost through the second round.
That's fair.
Patino alluded in the post-game press conference last night that Shane's going to leave after this year. So does that mean Shane is maybe a second-round pick this year? Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe.
In my opinion, I think he has the type of body that can play in the NBA.
You're not an NBA scout.
I'm not. Neither are you.
I'm not. That's why I'm not saying he does.
You don't. You are not.
I would guess Shane's got the body, as does most college
players. And he has
players.
the talent.
Most college guys are 6'8", have bodies to play in the NBA.
Shane has the skill set, the athleticism.
He has the skills. He has the body.
So, I mean, I think he's an NBA caliber player. I'm not saying he's a lottery pick. I'm surprised if he got picked in the second round.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And, if he
this
does,
year. Because he's going to go. Shane is gone.
I thought he was going to leave after his freshman year. He's ready. Not maybe skilled-wise for an NBA, but he is ready. But if he sticks around, I wouldn't be surprised either if he stays for one more year.
I would love him to stay around. Obviously.
But it's just crazy, though. Not Kentucky, Louisville has no guys projected this year.
That is crazy.
Not even Siva.
And they're that good.
It's true. Where's Russ Smith?
Yeah, he's not on either of these lists.
Neither.
Which is wild to me. I mean, obviously,
he's so small, and that's what people are looking at. And I guess they're looking at his potential.
Let's look down this list and see if I find anyone.
Can Russ Smith get much better? That's my question. That's what they're also asking.
I think he can develop a dominant post game. Isaiah Cannon is listed at 6'1". He's 23rd overall.
Was this year?
Trey Burke, we know the Michigan point guard. He is projected at 25th overall. That's this year.
Okay.
Then Deontay Burton out of Nevada is 27th overall, 6'1". So guys, Kevin Dillard is projected out of Dayton to be drafted, 6-foot point guard.
Basically a bunch of nobodies like Nate Walters from South Dakota State are all projected ahead of dominant.
Pierre Jackson out of Baylor is projected
Talk about
to
a small
be drafted
guy.
Late in the second round. He's 5'10".
He's tiny.
So yes, to answer your question, people are even listed as being smaller than Russ Smith and projected to be drafted. So it is wild. I think he has an unorthodox game. May not translate into the NBA.
We're going to go ahead and go to the weather real quick, Kelly, because
let's do it.
It's a Sunday. It's New Year's.
We're getting a lot of texts saying we want weather reports.
Everybody needs to know the weather for the New Year because you got to be safe on the New Year. We got maybe some snow coming again. I don't know. Can we get the green screen? Can we pull it up, Adam? Meatballs box. There we go. Over in this area, the West Coast, it's drier. And you come over into our area, 33% chance of rain, it seems, maybe some precip. What kind of weather map is this? What are you on? This is terrible.
Down in
Kelly,
this area.
Try it?
Down in this area.
Down in this area.
We'll be kind of, going to New. Is that New Orleans?
I know nobody can. If you're listening on the radio, you're probably, what the hell are they doing? Well, we have our TV show too, KentuckySports.co/TV, and we're doing the weather. Anyways, get a better weather map for next week because this one sucks. I want the real weather. I want a moving. I want to stand up.
I want a Doppler radar.
I want a Doppler radar. Yeah, I want to be able to say, just like John Belsky, we got a front rolling in. Okay.
Because you see plenty of weather guys doing sports.
Yes.
Might as well have the sports guys doing the weather.
And if you're a weatherman, you're never fired. You can be wrong 100% of the time and be perfectly okay.
All you do is read a Doppler radar and say, this is what it says.
And you look okay. So
I would like that job.
Let's do that next week. Better weather screen next week. Okay.
So
384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, 414-1450, the Lotus Gunworks text line. Get on there. Call us. Text us. We'll read it right over there. And, of course, livingforwest.org. Check it out. Great deals on there as well. Kelly, let's go a little bit over here football.
NFL or college?
No, I don't care about the NFL. The Browns are done. All right? It's over. we're going to your team. As much as I don't want to as well, we have to talk about it because you're, 72 hours away? About 72, 80 hours away. I mean,
Yeah.
you're there. Okay?
You're right.
You're about to go down to New Orleans.
I am as excited about this trip as I can remember being.
When's the last time you left the state of Kentucky? Because you're a family man.
I was Christmas. I was up in Ohio.
You were with the family, though. You're getting out there. You're going with the.
I'm really letting my hair down, and I am just going to go nuts. No, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. I've never been to New Orleans. Everybody I hear
it's dirty.
Talk about it, they say it's great. It's dirty. It's got
great,
some crime, and it's got some, maybe dirty gypsies and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it does. There's people playing instruments and mimes and stuff like that. But it's a great time. So there's a lot of good stuff to enjoy, good food. Even if we don't go out and we're not going to go to real expensive restaurants or anything like that.
No,
but
we should
be able to
save
have
alcohol money. I mean, come on. You and Peter are going to have a blast.
We are. I am extremely excited.
Dugan Ryan, Trevor Bacon Kelsey, Nick Coffey, J.D. Coffey. I don't know for Sean, but if you name them,
everyone's going to be down there.
Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be a huge party. Card Nation is going strong. I asked Mark yesterday about the allotment of tickets. He said 95% are gone for the allotment,
which is impressive.
That's
Louisville,
huge.
I mean, it's a recipe for a big showing. When you take Louisville, which you alluded to earlier, is a partying fan base.
It's a partying fan base,
and you say, let's let you go watch your Cardinals play against the third-ranked Florida Gators in New Orleans, of
8
all
o'clock
places.
kickoff.
I mean, this is a recipe for just a big showing
Kelly,
and just a wild, crazy crowd.
8 o'clock
Charlie's
kickoff.
got to love this.
How rowdy is the fans?
Oh, my God.
I mean, for both fan bases, obviously. Florida, they might not have sold their allotment of tickets like Louisville, but you guarantee there's going to be thousands of Florida fans in there.
There will.
It'll be a packed Sugar Bowl, both fans, and it's going to be a great environment. And for 12 minutes.
And then Florida's going to run away with it.
Florida's going to run away with it.
I'm looking at it here. Florida has 8 guys who are projected to be drafted next year.
You're a big pro proponent. Guys that are going pro.
I do think
like
that
North
that
Carolina
matters.
sucks, and they got a lot of pro athletes.
I think that Florida I think the college football is even a little bit more specifically defined by how many professional players are on the team than college basketball, in my opinion. Not just to say anti-Kentucky stuff. I do think it matters. Hell, we just reviewed the NBA Draft.net, and that matters. I mean, you see it last night. Kentucky, they don't have near the
18 NBA
continuity
scouts,
or
20
chemistry.
NBA scouts at the game.
Yeah, but still, Kentucky only lost by 3. Why? Because they have a bunch of professional players on their team. I think in the college game, it really matters, too. You look back at when Petrino was doing real good with the Cardinals and when they won the Orange Bowl.
Where he has.
In hindsight, they have tons of guys in the NFL now.
Yeah,
They do. They
Michael
really
Bush.
do. Michael Bush, Hunter
Amobi
Cantwell,
Okoye.
Amobi
Our
Okoye,
guy?
Brandon Johnson,
Our
Earl
guy,
Heyman,
your guy, Earl Heyman.
I mean, I could keep going. There's other guys.
Future
Elvis
heavyweight
Dumerville,
champion.
Amobi Okoye,
Art Carmody.
Gay, the defensive back. I mean, Carmody. I mean,
I don't think Carmody's actually in the NFL. I don't know how he's not, but
regardless, they have 8 guys. They've got Matt Elam, the starting strong safety. They've got Sharif Floyd, a defensive tackle. Jordan Reed, a tight end, projected.
these
to
are
the 5th
pros
round.
for this year.
For this specifically this
They
year.
have plenty of pros on
No,
that
I know.
roster.
That's what's
Their
kinda-
running back.
Yeah, I'm not done. Mike Gillison. Mike
Yes,
Gillison.
Mike
He's a
Gillison.
projected 3rd rounder.
He's
so I
gonna
mean,
dominate.
they've got Josh Evans, who's their other safety. Both of their safeties are going to be drafted in the NFL this year. Jelani Jenkins is an outside linebacker projected to go in the 5th round. They have a lot of talent on this team. If Louisville can, I hate to say this, if they can hang with them and keep it close, it's impressive. Call us, 384-1450. Am I a bad fan for saying that?
Well, you mean-
Tyler, do you think I'm a bad fan for saying that? That if they keep it close, that's impressive.
No, not at all.
I
Because
want us to
Kentucky
win.
just lost by 3, and I'm very impressed.
I'm a Louisville fan. I don't think we're going to win.
You're fair.
Call us, 384-1450. Tell me I'm crazy.
Okay, I'm going to ask you
Look
this.
at this. They are stacked, especially
Joe,
defensively.
you said-
Teddy Bridgewater has not faced a defense like that this year.
Louisville has not faced a team like this.
I know.
Name a team that's anywhere near as good as Florida they played. There's not one.
I didn't say that they had.
I know. I'm just saying that this is it's new, but the same for Florida. They haven't played a team that's like Louisville.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a team maybe in the SEC that compares. Maybe a Texas A&M
Yeah,
because they have a great quarterback.
That was going to be my first comparison.
Yeah, great quarterback.
Did they play them?
Georgia, great quarterback. Yeah, I'm not sure if they played him. That's a good point. They may not play, but you got to look at a team that definitely has a quarterback that can run it. A team that mixes it up, does run the ball a lot as well. LSU, not obviously Louisville is not LSU. We don't know. I guess we really don't know. I'm not going to say. I'll say no. You're probably thinking different, but I just don't think. I think this will be a game for a half. Start the third quarter, things will settle back down more into Florida's favor. They're going to find some more openings. I'm thinking of 13, 14-point victory for Florida.
Florida beat on September 8th. They beat the Texas A&M Aggies 20-17. Johnny, who really he wasn't known for being even a Heisman candidate, I don't think, at that time. But Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, Heisman Trophy winner, was 23 of 30 for 173 yards. He was sacked 3 times. No touchdowns, no interceptions. So they actually handled him pretty well. Once again, that was very early in the season. I think it was the second game of the year. And he was not Johnny Football. He was not the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at that time.
Oh, I agree with you on that.
But they have faced a top level. You got to say better than
go to their full overall schedule here, and then we'll be able to tell you who they faced. Let's see here, a little fast internet here at the Pee Wee Valley compound, Matt. You might want to fix that.
If you could get on that,
Matt, if you could really step your game up for us here. Okay, let's go down the list here from Bowling Green. Okay, who cares? Texas A&M, Tennessee, Kentucky, LSU. Beat LSU. Vanderbilt, South Carolina. South Carolina has 2 good quarterbacks. Georgia lost to Georgia, who has a great quarterback. Better quarterback than what Louisville has, in my opinion, passing-wise. Definitely a better passer. Missouri.
Definitely a better passer?
Andy Murray.
I wouldn't say anybody's definitely a better passer than
Andy Murray, in my opinion, is. It's just my opinion. Florida State, they're a team that mixes it up a lot. They have both offense and a run game and a pass game. So that's a good little comparison. They beat them 37-26. Looking at the schedule.
They can run the ball.
No, that's what I just said. They mix it up. Florida State is a team that will pass and will run.
Oh, no.
Kind of like Louisville.
Florida, that's kind of what they do is they run the ball. Let's see exactly how Florida beat Florida State. Sorry,
I watched a lot of this game.
Did you?
I watched a lot of it. Florida State actually had an early lead on them, and then Florida turned it on in the second half. I expect Florida to do the same to Louisville, turn it on in the second half. They're going to figure it out in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if Louisville is tied, maybe a field goal lead or so going into halftime.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
They're a great first quarter team. Louisville is. Maybe they jump on Florida, get an early touchdown. I just think it's going to come down in the second half when Florida establishes the run game, establishes what they want to do. And I think they win. I don't think it's going to be the blowout that a lot of my fellow Kentucky fans or maybe the national scene thinks.
I don't think it'll be a blowout either. I think that it'll end up being that we lose by 7 points maybe, and that I'm happy. And
are you happy with the loss?
Yes.
So
if it's close. If it's 7 points. I know that's controversial. I've said that to a lot of people, and it upsets a lot of my buddies.
That's fair.
It does.
Me.
Call us 384-1450.
What if
say I'm a bad
what's
fan?
Not
Tell
close?
Me what
is not close? 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, we lose by 17. I'm going to be
17 or more. You're not happy. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. 13-14, like I said.
I try to be realistic. I'm not going to say we need to win. I expect to win.
You're realistic with the basketball game. Unlike what I heard, 20-plus points. You're stupid if you thought that was going to be a 20-point blowout. You said 6 points. I thought that was very fair. I said 3 points. What a surprise! I was right. It's kind of weird, but I like where you're coming from.
It's not always popular.
It's not always, especially against your own team. It's like Pete Rose.
And I'm not betting that we're going to lose. I'm not going to bet that we're going to lose.
You're not betting again in this game at all.
I'm not going to bet in this game. Did Kentucky hang with Florida for a minute?
They did.
They did, didn't they?
They did. It was actually.
They ended up losing 38-0.
Well, that's because Morgan Newton gave up 38 points when he threw 25 interceptions in the worst game of history of any quarterback for Kentucky.
At the end of the first half, it was 0-3. Florida was winning.
Kentucky had multiple opportunities to score in that first half, but Morgan Newton sucked. I know we got to hit a break. Let's do that. One more. Come back for the final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We're getting a little crazy on you all out there. Matt and Nat, E-Pause Box. Getting it done. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. We got a few minutes left here in the show. Got a lot of going on this week. Mason Myers in the morning will be, taking you through up to the Wednesday for the, the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. They'll be leading you up. I think I'll be doing a little afternoon work, filling in for the guys as well throughout the week, breaking you down. Kelly might be joining me tomorrow. I'm going to get we get good guests lined up for all your Card fans. I'm going to try to be as fair as I can be on the afternoon show this week, just to, make it fun. It's going to be a fun week. I know Louisville fans are happy. The 79th Annual Sugar Bowl, 8:30 p.m., January 2nd, 2013, Louisiana Superdome, Kelly. You are going to be in the Superdome in, 48 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
48, 72. You're going to be there, and it's going to be crazy. The fan base, I know you're all excited. I'm excited for you all because the more you talk Sugar Bowl, the more we look past what already happened yesterday. And it's cool.
I'm cool with that, too. I mean, when you're a program on the rise, you got all sorts of different sports succeeding and rising through the ranks. You got to kind of take it one day at a time. Something happened yesterday. You got to move forward. You got a BCS bowl game Wednesday, Tyler. I mean, you're right. We got to move on.
Think about that. BCS games are here. I mean, time just flies in the sports world, when it's going good, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I know you don't want to talk about the NFL, right?
Not too much.
That's all right.
Maybe next week.
We can always
maybe after the season.
We like to do a little talk of everything on this show. I like to mix in some boxing, and we need to do a little more on tennis. We do NASCAR and golf.
I love golf.
You do. What's the next big golf thing?
I don't know. I just love golf.
It's kind of a downtime right now, other than what we have going for us right now. The NFL playoffs are last season right now. Last game of the NFL regular season.
What we have is
the NFL playoffs.
What's in the show at the Sugar Bowl?
The Sugar Bowl
for you, because you're not. You'll get to recap it next Sunday. Till then, though, you're going to be kind of nervous, Kelly, leading up to this game. I guess they're kind of Louisville. Are you? And Louisville is the team, kind of this Kentucky standpoint of the basketball game yesterday, where we're coming in this game with really no pressure. Kentucky, in my opinion, Kentucky had no pressure yesterday. Without the rivalry game pressure, there was no pressure. Okay. Louisville, this is more of a you might think different. This is more of a bigger win for Louisville, a bigger game for Louisville yesterday than it was for Kentucky. I know you can look at it different ways.
I like it because as much as I can kind of change the really what's going on and try to talk about that it's not important. That's what I'm looking for. I can talk about how it's not important. The fact that Rick ended Cal's winning streak against him since he's been in Kentucky is
Peyton Siva,
it holds a little bit of significance.
Peyton Siva, after the game, one of them finally said it. This was a huge changing point for our season. He acknowledged this game is huge. It was huge because they know Kentucky is a great team, and they beat them. They won the rivalry game. It's past them. It's past Kentucky. It's huge for both these teams. Yesterday was a positive, in my opinion, for both of these teams, especially even losing. There's a positive Kentucky, but football. You're playing Florida. You're playing in an SEC opponent. You're playing a team that you all wanted, your fans wanted to face, because you're tired of the SEC talk, right? Well, I'm dead serious.
I guess. Yeah.
I've heard that from a lot of shows I'm listening to. They wanted to play that Florida.
Yeah.
They wanted this matchup.
So. Yeah, I guess so.
Because if you lose, it's expected.
We wanted a big game on a big, a big
stage.
National, stage for us to get the recognition and the exposure nationally that we want.
Now you got your coach, the billboard. Thank you, Charlie. You got your coach. Now you got to perform on national TV Wednesday. The only game people are going to be watching is the Sugar Bowl, and you better perform. And I think, my guy Mark from the Saturday Show, he did a great piece on his site. Louisville, this is the Louisville offense versus the Florida defense. Maybe. In my opinion, I think Louisville's defense is better than their offense.
Wow. Okay. I mean, they're very talented. Going into the season, that was kind of the perception, but I don't think the defense played that great this year. Statistically, though, you're right. They did. And they're about as good, maybe even better than the offense. I think just watching the pace of the games, I didn't feel that they tackled that well. I'm looking for the defense and, Vance Bedford, Charlie Strong's a defensive guy.
The line will be huge.
I'm looking for them to really be putting together a good game plan to maybe bring in the safeties, crowd the box, maybe 8 in the box, stop the running game. Kind of like when you game plan for going against someone like Adrian Peterson in the NFL. I think they're going to take Hakeem Smith and Calvin Pryor, and they're not going to worry about deep passes because this Florida Gators team doesn't pass the ball very well. They're going to really put a lot in the box and try to stop the run game.
Yeah, no, they really are, and it's going to come down to a lot of the line play for both of these teams, is the offensive and defensive lines. Whoever can establish the run game, which obviously Florida is going to want to do that much earlier, much more than Louisville, being as they are a short field team all season. They have a good turnover rate margin as well. It's going to come down to who can establish that line, and Louisville has a good offensive line. It's Kelly, offensive line, defensive line for Louisville, who's better, offensive?
Louisville's offensive or defensive line?
Yes.
Who's better?
Probably offensive.
Going into the season, I would have said defensive. But I think offensive.
I would go
I like
off.
the
You
talent.
got Mario
I like
Benavides.
You got Mario.
Alex Cupper.
Jamon Brown's good.
Jamon
Alex
Brown.
Cupper,
You got
Jake
good
Smith.
guys. You got a great offensive line. And if that establishes your guy, your running game, that's huge. Snorris Perry, he's not out for season, or he's out for season.
Yeah, he's
Excuse
not
me.
playing. We
Who's-
got Jeremy Wright.
Jeremy Wright. That's the name I was looking
Jeremy
for.
Wright, Corbin Lamb. Corbin Lamb, who hasn't played that much this year. He's only ran the ball
Fast.
11 times on the year, is lightning fast.
You got a whole month of preparation. You expect him to play something.
I hope
Obviously,
so.
Jeremy Wright is your guy. He's going to be the guy. But, Mike Gillespie, this is going to be kind of like the point guard matchup for Kentucky-Louisville. Who establishes the run game wins this game. If Louisville establishes that run game and Louisville really can't, upset city.
If Florida establishes, if
Louisville
Louisville establishes the run game, and Florida cannot.
And
Oh,
upset
yeah,
city.
yeah, especially when you have a strong-arm quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater.
Exactly.
If the Cards can establish the run, get into a little play action,
Opening it up.
maybe Devontae Parker deep for a touchdown, that type of stuff could happen. You're right, if they can establish the run game. They got to have, Jeremy Wright, maybe Corbin Lamb. I like the idea of giving it to Corbin Lamb. We're going to be playing
Louisville
against
cannot win this game, in my opinion, by passing alone. If that run game is not there, this is Florida's game, and you might see a 17, 21-point beatdown. Louisville has to run the game. Has to run the ball to keep this close and to win this game. They have to.
I agree.
Because that's also going to
control the clock.
You got to
keep your
control the
defense
clock
off the field.
It's going to be intense. What do you think the final score is going to be? What do you think? I know you
Um,
said it
this
last
is-
segment. Louisville's you expect Florida to win, so I'm expecting Florida to have the score. I said Louisville's going to win 77-74 the basketball game. You could I was being as fair as I could be.
24-17, Florida wins.
That's a fair score. One touchdown. That's about where I expect the score to be in the 20s. The winner. Anything above 30, I think Florida wins. In my opinion, because that means their offense is rolling on both ends. I mean, I could be wrong. With a whole month and a month and a half of preparation, basically for a game, you could see a whole new scheme of things from either team.
Yeah.
You never really know.
Especially considering Charlie Strong really knows this Florida team pretty well. So, I mean, how is he going to be scheming it? Yeah,
Does
he knows
he?
the players, yeah.
Does he?
He recruited a lot of these guys. Is that what you mean?
Did he?
Yeah, in football, guys normally
This is what
redshirt
Muscamp's-
and then they stick around
this
for
is
fun.
Muscamp's what, third year?
Well, this is Charlie's third year, completing his third year with Louisville.
This is
A lot of the guys who are now juniors and seniors, yes, Charlie recruited.
okay. Are they still there? We don't really know.
Yes, we do know.
You
I've heard Charlie talk about
Okay, well, cool. He knows them. But guess who knows Charlie Strong? Joker Phillips. He knows Louisville. That's a huge positive. It really is for Florida.
Didn't
a guy
seem-
that knows them has at least took a week or two to look into Louisville.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It's a whole
He
month
knows
and a half.
that they're game planning for him. Joker Phillips has a little bit more insight, but
I don't think it matters.
You don't.
Because you got a whole month and a half. Both these teams know both these teams. They've
Okay.
watched every game tape from each team. It's going to come down to who performs each coach's game plan on game day. My opinion, I got Louisville. I got Florida taking us home 28. I'm going to say 28-14.
Okay.
2 touchdowns.
All right. Well, I mean, it could happen. I hope it doesn't. I hope Louisville keeps it close. And I'm not writing off the possibility Louisville could win. Teddy Bridgewater is that good of a player that when he's healthy, if you're right, if we get the run game going, Lamb and Wright, moving the chains, kind of controlling the tempo, Teddy Bridgewater can just throw a bomb to Devontae Parker or, someone like Eli
Last
Rogers.
question
I mean,
for
stuff
you.
like that, it's possible. When you have a quarterback that's that good, you can always
Who's
win.
your MVP of the game for Louisville?
Who will be the MVP?
Is it Teddy? Is it Devontae Parker? Is it your offensive line? Is it your defense? What is it? Who do you believe will be the MVP of this game?
I picked it earlier this year, I think twice, and got burnt by it. Adrian Bichelle.
Going with Adrian Bichelle.
Yes.
Defensive side.
I think he's going to have I don't know if it'll be an interception or a fumble recovery. Maybe he'll force a fumble. Maybe he'll return a punt for a touchdown. Adrian Bichelle is going to have a highlight reel level game, and then he's going to be drafted in the NFL.
We got about a minute left in the show. We got a text in the Oldest Gunworks text line here from a Kentucky fan, 24-14 Louisville. How about that?
Wow. I'd
Never
love to
know.
see it.
Never
It
know.
could happen. I'm sure that the Florida team and, even the Florida fans are not overlooking by any stretch. I mean,
There
obviously,
shouldn't be
it's
any
a bowl
overlooking.
game.
It's a
There won't
BCS.
be. It's a BCS game.
Great show. Thanks to Aaron Young for coming on, talking a little bit about his billboard that is downtown 65. Next week, follow Mason and Myers in the morning, 7 to 9. The afternoon show, 5 to 6 inside the press box. We're going to talk to a lot of people down in New Orleans, breaking down the Sugar Bowl. Kelly, have a safe trip down to New Orleans. Have fun. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.